Welcome to Gotta Run with Will. My name is Michael Oliva, and I'm your guest host for today. My special guest today is David Fraser. Dave is a 10-time New York City Marathon finisher and much, much more. But welcome to the show today, Dave.
Thank you very much for having me.
We are also joined by Dave's wife of 25 years, Nora, and Adina Silber, who has been on the Dave Fraser Marathon Guide team for the last 2 years. I met Dave in 2007 when Dave was training for his first New York City Marathon. We've done every marathon, New York City Marathon since together. This year will be our 11th year. So Dave, I just wanted to start out by asking you a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into running.
Well, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I began running 2007, and the reason is because my work had a wellness program that they began that year, and they asked us to do a physical guidance to get more healthy, and I had always wanted to run New York. Ever since I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, I had always wanted to run. I remember back in the 70s, when I used to watch Greta Advice.
Greta won like probably 8 New York City marathons, I would guess.
She was amazing.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? One day I had to do New York.
So you were inspired by watching it in the 70s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave came here at the age of 6. He was born in Trinidad.
I was born in Trinidad.
And you're a lifelong Brooklynite, besides your first 6 years in Trinidad, right? You've been in Brooklyn the entire time in New York? Okay. And Dave's also got 3 children, ranging from ages 17 to 24, I believe. So I wanted to bring them up as well. So Dave's a lifelong accountant. He's been an accountant with a nonprofit group in Manhattan for about 25 years. So you get this work challenge. Your coworkers say, hey, Dave, do you think you could do the New York City Marathon? And what do? You pretty much, the next weekend, you're in Central Park, right?
I go, hell yeah.
Dave jumps right into it. So Dave goes to Central Park for your first workout, right? On a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up. So give me your thinking of that, of what you were thinking about going into that first workout in Central Park. What was your mind going through? What was your thought process? That August day in Central Park, what was your goal? How many miles did you want to go?
That day, honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. My goal was to do as many miles that I could get done without knowing how many miles I was doing. I get out and I began running.
Yeah, this is actually when Dave and I met. The first day Dave worked out, I came across Dave. He was in the park. He was actually getting a drink of Gatorade at one of those stands in the park. And I could tell Dave was a guy that was there working out hard for the day. It was mid-August. It was probably 90 degrees. It was a brutal day, brutal New York summer day. So I just introduced myself to Dave. I'm like, what are you up to? He's like, I'm training for the New York City Marathon. And I go, well, how many miles are you doing today? He goes, as many as I can. So that was Dave's thinking for his first day of training, was to do as many miles as he could. We did a loop in the park together. I think you were probably on mile 7 or 8 already, but we did a loop in the park together that day. And, we decided to do the marathon. I decided to help guide you in the marathon after that, and we've been doing it ever since. But I wanted to back up a step or two because, Dave's marathon is definitely a challenge. Dave, for anyone that has seen Dave out there working out in Central Park, Dave does the marathon backwards. in his wheelchair. And he uses his feet to propel himself backwards. And doing the marathon takes Dave anywhere from probably 8 to 12 hours. I think that's what we've covered over the years.
Right.
And Dave, describe to us what it's like to go backwards in the wheelchair. And Dave, for anybody that doesn't know, Dave has cerebral palsy. He was born with it. And cerebral palsy, it affects the portion of your brain that controls motor function and muscle coordination. So Dave's been working with that challenge in life and during the races forever. But you're still able to amazingly complete the marathon every year. 10 finishes so far. But yeah, tell us about what it's like going backward in the wheelchair, how you actually push off and use the wheelchair during the race, because it's very unique how Dave actually creates the propulsion to go backwards. So maybe you could show the guests kind of just how you move. Just show us, your foot action or what you do.
Well, I would go backwards on my and the reason is because I tend to move faster with my legs than my arm.
Okay.
But since I've been doing it all my life, for me, it's like you walking. It's a normal part of my life. But when I'm going backwards, I do more like to propel it.
He propels with the right foot. He pushes off with his right toes. Yep.
On my left leg, I used to control it. Yeah.
So the left foot controls the wheelchair. It's just for steering purposes.
Like, to me, it's like driving a car. Like,
I love that comparison. Okay.
This the wheel.
This is the wheel. Okay.
This the pedal.
Okay. And then what do you to steer it? You actually put your foot
I put my foot
on a little bolt next to the wheel. Probably hard to see on film, but there's a little bolt.
But the bolt, depending on which direction I want to go, I again make a little movement with my feet.
So to go left or right, that left foot will steer the chair.
The left foot will take me to the direction that I want to go. And my right foot provide the speed
Okay.
I want to go.
So it's amazing. So basically, Dave he's pushing his entire body in chair with the right foot the entire time. The reason he goes backwards in the wheelchair is because his legs are much stronger than his arms. So he actually could create much more traction and go a lot faster using his legs going backwards. I think the first New York City Marathon, I'm sure for everybody, is probably the most interesting experience. But Dave's even goes a step beyond that, I think. So Dave's first New York City Marathon, just getting to the start is a battle, right, Dave?
Yeah.
So Achilles sets up buses, Achilles International, which is an organization that helps provide guides for all types of people with disabilities. They provide buses in Midtown to take everybody to the start. Buses get there at like 4:30 a.m. But Dave lives out in Brooklyn. There's not a lot of transportation from Brooklyn to New York City, 3 a.m., especially for somebody who's got a wheelchair. It's very challenging, right? So tell us what your plan was and what you did that first night before your first New York City Marathon. What did you end up doing to kind of try to get there early to the bus? I think you went to a movie in Midtown, right?
Again, I had no idea what I was doing. All I know is I had to get to the buses. I believe the bus leaves between 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, right around 4 or 5. Yeah,
So I decided to leave my home at about 11 p.m.
So you leave Brooklyn at 11 p.m. for a race the next morning that starts at 8 a.m. Okay. Sure.
And I get into Manhattan, 34th Street and 8th Avenue because that's where my office was.
Right around Penn Station, right? Yeah, okay.
First, my plan was to get rest at my office. I figured I could take a nap
Take a nap at your office. Okay.
And
And then wake up for the buses. Yeah.
go.
Okay.
That plan didn't work out. Luckily, there's a movement there right next
Okay.
to the office.
Okay.
And now, it's about midnight.
Okay.
I go, okay, you will go to the midnight showing. I go take a nap in
You took a nap in the theater for the movie. Yeah.
Because I had no interest in the movie. Just get sleep.
Yeah, just to get sleep.
I bought my ticket,
Okay.
got my nap, I woke up, but this day, the movie over, I had to leave. Meanwhile, they had like
Still a couple hours.
20 hours to kill.
Yeah.
Luckily, there was a 12-hour McDonald's
Okay.
in the area.
Pretty much hung out there.
So I went there and get killed the rest of the time.
Okay.
I mean,
You killed your time at McDonald's before the bus.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. I mean, Dave says he took a nap in the theater and killed some time at McDonald's, but I show up that morning at the Achilles buses. Dave looks exhausted. He looks like he didn't sleep all night. So he gets to the starting line of his first marathon, which is going to be hard enough. We don't know what to expect, right? It's your first one. We had done plenty of long workouts in the park, 6 to 8 hours, but still didn't know what to expect. Things didn't go as planned on the Verrazano Bridge. We got off to a bit of a rocky start. I think you probably remember that, right?
Yeah.
As everyone knows, the Verrazano's a pretty steep bridge, and it takes a long time. Going uphill, it probably consumes the most time for us during the marathon, going up hills. But going down the other side, what Dave does is he flips around the wheelchair for any downhills, and he goes forwards because he could get, the momentum from the downhill. But the Verrazano is a little steeper than we were used to, right? For hills, I think, in general. So what happened on the Verrazano?
So,
We went down, right? You went down on the Verrazano. Very scary. Just took a tumble on that first steep incline. But Dave got up in seconds. I was really impressed, Dave. You got up in seconds and you just went at it. And I think we really, besides it being this super challenge and a long, long day, I think you really performed pretty well that first race. I mean, I remember we finished in the dark, probably about 9 hours.
well, every year we put it in the dark.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
That's guaranteed. But I remember going down the Verrazano Bridge. When I go up, it takes me a while.
Yeah.
When I'm going downhill, it's no problem. I get like going. I'm going like at least 12 miles per hour.
Okay. Sure.
And yeah, I'm letting go and boom. Next thing I'm rolling down the hill.
He's tumbling on
Yeah.
the Verrazano.
But for me, that everyday part of life. I mean, I have taken some time that no big deal.
Okay.
And I just hit the floor, roll, do my thing, go off, and we get going.
Yeah.
And then,
Like it was nothing. You
Yeah.
just kept at it.
and then when we got to about 9 hours later, you know what?
You didn't feel it, right? You didn't feel any of the bumps and bruises.
I mean,
Or maybe you did a little bit.
that, you know what? Going in, I had no expectations. I didn't know what was going to happen. You know what? I think that made it great. Because my goal was to get finished.
Just
That
finish.
was a big.
But you reached your goal. No. Congrats, man. That was awesome, Dave. And congrats on the 10 after that as well. And we'll get into a couple of those. Note that Dave can turn around the chair and go downhill. What frustrates me about the New York City Marathon is, the Verrazano Bridge, there's nobody on it yet because we started a little early. But once those 40, 50,000 people come to the race, Dave turns around the chair and goes downhill. But he's on the brake the entire time because we have swarms of people around us. So David really doesn't get any of the advantages from any downhill in the New York City Marathon because he has to brake. He has to watch the other runners, not run them over. What's another good marathon story? What do you think? How about the second year, Nora? Nora's been a huge help in so many ways. One way is helping Dave with his nutrition and
cooking.
Making sure Dave knows the best things to eat during the race. So the first year, Dave didn't have a nutrition plan, and you just got by, I think, without really eating a lot or drinking a lot. But for the second year, I think, Nora, we made some biscuits. We had specific drinks. You packed a lot of things in Dave's bag, right?
Snickers.
You had some foods you knew you liked at that point, right? That would work and settle.
Peanut butter.
So we get, Dave's got a backpack. I usually stuff it in my backpack and carry it the whole way at the starting line. So it's because it's a long day. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. We have to have night clothing for the cold times and food for the whole way. There's a lot of things. But we get a random guide that volunteered that morning at the start line the second year. I forgot his name. We haven't seen him since. But nice guy. But he offers to take Dave's backpack, carry it for the race. We're like, great. It's a great guide. He's doing a lot for us already. So he takes Dave's backpack with all his biscuits, all his drinks, all his specific foods. He's going to carry it the whole way. We get to the top of the Verrazano. Dave goes down the Verrazano this year, no falls, fast as can be. One of the things on places like the Verrazano, we have to run to keep up with Dave. And this guy just wasn't prepared for that type of running. He couldn't keep up on the downhill after the Verrazano Bridge, and we basically didn't see the guide or Dave's gear and bag the rest of the way. So for the second year, Dave had to go without, had to improvise. Didn't have any of your biscuits, any of your drinks. You just had to go with, you planned and did all this work, but you made it happen anyway.
We get the new guide about 20 minutes before we
right before the start, yeah.
Come out of nowhere. Okay, no problem. Because breathtaking. The guy could run the video and the guy could help it out. No problem. Mm-hmm. We thought we'd go up the Verrazano. No problem. The guy there, but he's behind us. He's walking. We could see him coming up the water.
But he could just never catch up, right?
No problem. We go down, and the minute we begin the downhill, the guy disappears. No, okay, no problem. Now we're at like my grill. At my grill, and looking back, I don't worry.
He'll find us, right? Yeah, he'll come around.
And then we got that mile 6 or 7, but like it's back there. and then at about my 8, 9, we're like, we care about it. It's never gonna.
It's not gonna happen.
Meanwhile, we got to that mile 25 and about 5 days. And there he is.
That's right, he showed up at 25. Yeah, in the dark at 25. We're like, hey.
With a bag.
Yeah.
Okay. That was very interesting.
Yeah, interesting's a good way to put it, Dave. As if the marathon's not interesting and hard enough as it is. It always throws you another wrinkle, I think, right? In the race.
Yeah.
We have to give a shout out to Trisha Williams, too.
Yeah.
Trisha Williams couldn't be here today, but she's part of the Dave Fraser Marathon Guide team, and she's been doing it every year since 2009. So she'll be on her 9th year with us this year. Yeah.
Right.
So we love you, Trish, and we'll see you on Sunday. Trisha also provides a car every year so Dave could go directly from Brooklyn to the start. So no movie theaters, no McDonald's.
No.
So thank you, Trisha. So Trisha comes into play for this. I'm bringing up the hand cycle story. So another year, Dave's totally prepared. This is only 3 years ago, 2015. Everybody, the whole race, all 50,000 people have to walk up a portion of the Verrazano to get to the start. So Dave comes up the Verrazano. There's a little hill, little uphill, then a little downhill, and another little uphill to get you to that final starting line on the bridge. And we start with all the push from wheelchairs and all the hand cycles as well. But there's a little downhill before you get that final uphill to the start on the bridge. And a hand cyclist, I believe he was from Brazil or another country, he just lost control of his hand cycle down the hill. He must have not known how the brake mechanisms work. He basically crashed into Dave and Trisha at, I'd say, 10 miles per hour. It was a pretty hard crash. From behind, Trisha was behind Dave, so the hand cyclist went right through Trisha into Dave's chair, and Dave came flying out of the chair, face forward, right? And he had a new Garmin 310 XT watch, which smashed on impact. And Trisha was kind of cut up, She's okay, but Trisha's tough, just like you are, Dave, and she finished the whole race. But what do you think about that? As if it wasn't hard enough, you have to get nailed from behind at the start. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I remember that morning, beautiful morning. Everything was fine, and boom. I know, good lay on her back.
That's right, she was down. Trisha was down.
I am laying on my back.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, I heard a loud boom, boom. And my very first instinct was, oh no, I have a flat
You
tire.
thought the tire popped. You thought you got a flat.
I thought the tire popped.
But that noise was from the impact of your watch.
Yeah.
That pop was his watch basically exploding. And we thought that was his tire exploding. Yeah.
Then we knew that Dick got injured.
Yeah.
But we didn't know the full extent of how bad it was.
She didn't know the full extent either of how hurt she was. She didn't even look at it. She's like, let's get to the start line. Let's go. And we learned after the race,
Meanwhile,
she was bleeding the entire race. And she went and got stitches after the race in the inside of her thigh and her leg. The bicycle had cut through her leg. But Dave, you finished that year. You got through that mishap at the beginning, and you had another finish. But I think you said you're going to do this as long as you can, right?
Yeah.
There's no end in sight. Yeah, and Sunday will be the 11th. And for anyone that wants to come out, we're out there in the dark, usually about 4 or 5 p.m. We're on 5th Avenue. Dave's pushing up that hill on 5th at about 100th Street. See Dave finish around 8 o'clock. It's around 8 p.m. usually, around that time frame. We'll be crossing the line. But I wanted to give a shout out to Peter Cha-Cha and New York Roadrunners as well. In the last couple of years, they've been at the finish line there waiting for us. And a lot of the other late finishers, and I think I want to commend them on that. That takes a lot for them to be out there that late after such a long day. But yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to add to the Adina? Anything else?
Well, I met Dave by a fluke. I was a standby guide for someone else. And then I heard Dave had a flat tire in Brooklyn. So I wanted to join you guys to see if you needed any help.
Yeah, I believe this was in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Adina was 2016 or 2015?
Yeah, 2016, I think it was around there.
Yeah, Adina was a standby guide for Achilles at the halfway point. And this was a year that Dave actually did get a flat tire. And what happened? What did you hear? And how did you end up finding us?
For me, as hearing it from someone who had no idea what it was, what was transpiring, even where you were, it sounded so horrible, as if both tires went out on the wheelchair, and thinking that you guys possibly weren't going to finish the race and just needing help repairing it. So it was more just the unknown scary where your mind worries. And I've never met Dave, so I didn't even know if you guys were injured or anything that pertains to that. But I remember seeing you guys coming up the Pulaski Skyway, and Dave was determined to finish. And I couldn't even believe the story when I heard it about having to get the kindness of others, just repairing it.
Yeah, it is a great story. And there couldn't have been a better year for you to join us, Adina, because Dave got a flat and how long that took to get fixed. And it just took a lot longer that year for Dave to do the race, and to have another guide like yourself join us that year helped dramatically. But part of the story that year was that in Brooklyn, Dave had a flat, and 4 guys that just happened to be watching the race, they went and ran home, got a tube, put it in Dave's tire. It wasn't the right size tube, but it was enough to get it inflated to where we could go. And then we went maybe a mile on that oversized tube, which we're a little nervous about. And a bike shop owner saw Dave, and he just got him right in ahead of everyone else and fixed it in 2 minutes and wouldn't accept any money. It's a great New York moment, and I wish I had the name of that Brooklyn bike shop, but that guy was just absolutely incredible. Adina's been with us ever since, and I think you did the entire race with us last year in the rain, which was another challenging and long year. And I think I should just bring that up too. Every year there's a challenge, but in the rain, last year was really the first year in the last 10 that it rained all year. And you know, Dave struggles with traction in the rain. It's very hard to push off when you have a kind of a slick surface. So Dave was, you know, to finish that race last year in those type of conditions was just, and to stick it out was incredible, Dave. Let's hope there's no rain this Sunday. So far, hopefully there's not.
As a guide, I'm always fascinated because we spend over 10 hours to each other just chit-chatting. And one thing that I was most impressed with is the fact that I know, Dave, you trained for this and it's something you look forward to, but this isn't something you do. And something else, you also have a hobby of personal training. And
it's true.
That is so much more arduous and physically taxing. So
yeah, Dave has a full life. I mean, besides being a full-time accountant, father of 3 kids and husband, he's also a personal trainer. He took on personal training 3 to 4 years ago, took all the classes, and he's a certified personal trainer. And he created a business called Night Warrior Fitness. And you have a client base, and you work all over Manhattan, right, Dave?
New York. All 5 boroughs.
You'll go anywhere, any 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
And it's a passion for you. You work with people on weight loss, on muscle strength, and all types of things. And I mean, you're really passionate about having people meet their goals. And I think your client base is pretty dedicated to you at this point. But Dave's always open and looking for new people to work with. Yeah, no, that's impressive.
It's all about keeping the body fit. I figure if I can do it, anybody do it. 'Cause yeah, I'm very passionate about fitness and about being in shape.
You definitely are, David. You're a perfect example of someone that's tough and who cares about fitness and is willing to go above and beyond to stay in shape. So no, I'm sure your clients are, you give them a little extra motivation as well. I look forward to seeing Night Warrior Fitness continue to grow and many, many more marathons.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, sure. Well, I wanted to give a big thank you to Manhattan Neighborhood Network and Will Sanchez for hosting us today.
I'm David Fraser. All I'm Night Warrior Fitness. Today, I'm going to give you a very easy tip to help you improve your fitness. Now you're at the butt stop. You're waiting 10, 20 minutes. The butt comes. The butt never comes. Hey, yeah, really cool idea. You get up the sidewalk, look at the butt. If the butt isn't there, you know what to do? You stand around and walk in that butt. 4 blocks. That's all you have to do. 4, 5 blocks. Easy. You don't need any dumbbell. You don't need any barbell. All you need is 2 things. Your feet. Get up and walk. And look, the number. The orbit roll with.